Thank you. Hi, everyone. We are ShipMetrix, and we provide advanced analytics for tracking your shipments. The problem that we identified in the market is that there's no real good way to track data and meaningful metrics on high-value items that you're shipping. There's point-to-point tracking, but that only lets you know when a product has arrived or left a port. There's no meaningful metrics that allow you to see if the temperature has been right, or if your product's been knocked around, or if the orientation has been placed the wrong way while it's been in motion. And as well, product issues aren't known to you until they're delivered to the final consumer, which wastes you a lot of time. So our solution is a hardware and software product where we're able to gather location information, temperature, humidity, handling, as well as orientation, aggregate that into a beautiful web app interface, which you can check your shipping information from anywhere in the world. So the market opportunity really has to do with the broader shipping industry, which is huge. But more specifically, we're looking at people that are shipping high value, unique, and one-of-a-kind items. For example, racehorses, exotic cars, medical supplies, unicorns, and art.
Especially unicorns.
We're specifically targeting delivery companies, and we're going to go after UPS, FedEx, and DHL so they can supply value-add services to their customers. We did a little bit of market validation during the weekend. We did speak to some management from GE, and they said this actually solves a problem that they are looking at. We were also able to talk to someone that owns a horse ranch, and he said he would definitely be willing to pay a little bit extra money to make sure that his horse is safe while it's being transported. Our value proposition has 4 components. First, affordable hardware. This lowers the barrier to adoption so that our clients can grab the hardware and then be sucked in by our beautiful software experience. Number 2 is the detailed and real-time analytics. You're able to track where your package is and update and check all the metrics that are going along with it real-time, any point during the trip. Number 3, we have a beautiful visual interface to grab all this complicated and technical data, put it into one spot, view it graphically so that even non-technical users are able to analyze it. And finally, it provides an incremental revenue opportunity for these shipping companies. So UPS is able to offer this value-add service to their customers and as well bring in incremental customers who may not have felt as comfortable shipping these high-value items in the first place. So now I'm going to hand it over to Dimitri, who'll talk a little bit about our software, hardware, and our business plan.
So the software dashboard is one of the most important aspects of our system because it deals with a lot of data that has a lot of numbers to it, and we have to visualize this in a very intuitive and simple way for the customers. So this would be the generic kind of dashboard that you would see with any tracking service today. You see where it's going and the checkpoints that are given to you. Now the user has the opportunity to check exactly what sensor is with his product or her product, and that's relative to the product that's being shipped. So for example, we're looking at a gyroscope data. So this deals with how many times the object has been twisted, turned, and how hard it has been twisted or turned. And at the very top of the high peak, to simplify the data for the user, it says exactly where it was, when it happened, and what part of the country it was happened and who was responsible for it. So to demonstrate how it shows in real life, we have our package going off on a vessel, and then whoever's dealing with it drops it. And of course, during presentations, this is never going to work. So we're going to try again. That's it. Yep. That dinosaur. So it's traveling, gets dropped, and does not work again. So, well, what was going to happen is that you have your time frame, and it shows day by day how many jobs it has gone through and the magnitude of the job. So it's really significant. You can see exactly what part of the world it was from and who was the party that was responsible for your package at that time. So this is the technology we're dealing with right now. We have the motherboard supplied by the Kiwi Group, and this is it right here. So we have the battery component to make it last through the entire journey, and it's currently encased in a plastic casing. But ideally, we would go with something a lot more flatter to work with the stackable kind of interface, or just the way boxes are stacked, so it's not in the way and it's not knocked off or anything like that. So for our revenue model, we're working with business to business and on recurring revenue on software licensing. So we're licensing this out, and yeah.
So we're going to pass the mic for questions. This will be the process. Maybe, yeah.
Good job, guys. Always hard to get that stuff working for a demo. My question is really about your target buyer selling to the shippers themselves. Of course, I can see the value add component, but I can also see the deep level of concern that they might have as their customers ultimately see how many times they, the shipper, are dropping this or doing the wrong thing with that parcel. So I wonder if you've got that wrong and actually you want your buyer to be the end user themselves that are shipping this and can hold accountable their shipping companies.
Exactly. So initially in our business plan, we would first provide it to the shipping company, and the shipping company would only be able to see this data. This gives them an opportunity to pinpoint exactly where the service is lacking and act upon it. So then in a 3-year time frame, then they would be able to be transparent enough and show exactly what's happening in their service and kind of show the value behind it, and be able to show and give that exact dashboard to the customers and be confident enough that they will provide that service the customer is looking for.
So I had a technical question around connectivity. What happens if you had to ship a package that went overseas or in the air? How are you going to track something real time?
So there's a couple ways we found a solution to that problem. And while it's in transit, both in the air and over the sea, there are connections to the ground. So at least for the sea, we'd be able to set up agreements, ideally with the shipping company who owns the ship, and ping their satellite phone, because the data that's sent is really small, very, very small, and it needs to only be sent once every hour, once every 10, 15 minutes. So it's not a lot of data. And if we could set those relationships up, I think we would be able to get that data to the customer in real time.
So we're pretty much working off the vessel that's already part of the global network at all times.
Just because we didn't get to see it actually working, can you just quickly tell us how much you actually got working over the course of the weekend, and we'll take your word for it?
Yeah, so actually, thanks to the great guys at Kiwi, we were able to do most of these things. But what we've set up here, it's mainly the accelerometer, and it tests up to a certain threshold when it's been dropped, and then it gives you essentially an event that happens and a warning. So we were able to set up a graph that measures over time the variability of those G-forces.
And also, the motherboard that we're dealing with only has 2 functioning sensors at the moment, the gyroscope and the accelerometer, but they are developing on including microphone and temperature and everything else that could be included onto that motherboard.
Nice. Thanks very much, guys. Give it up for ShipMetrix. Well done. It's always hard to go first.